A long time ago, there used to be an asylum somewhere in India. Before I begin the story, I need to tell you about the asylum itself. This asylum was originally created by the British. In fact, it was once known as a British military base. After their occupation ended, the same base was turned into a sprawling mental asylum. It was massive in size, with high ceilings and numerous buildings, eerie structures that felt like monuments to something long forgotten. The building was around 60 to 65 years old and had clearly aged with time. There weren't many patients inside, and only a few nurses worked there. On most nights, it appeared deserted. But if you looked from a distance, you'd see faint lights blinking in the darkness. The asylum was built in the heart of a dense forest. And in that forest lived an old woman, hidden away in a small hut. Locals whispered about her. Witchcraft, they said. Everyone called her a witch. Many tried to catch her, but no one ever succeeded. Strangely, she was never at home when searched. Sometimes a middle-aged woman would be spotted wandering near the hut. Residents of nearby huts claimed to hear a child's voice echoing from the forest, especially near the old woman's hut. The cries were loudest at night. People believed the woman used witchcraft to decrease her age. That's why even when her physical appearance changed, villagers couldn't recognize her or catch her. She was always one step ahead. There was another horrifying belief. If someone practicing this witchcraft failed to sacrifice a human during a full moon, they would lose their beauty, and their true age would be revealed. Their real face would appear constantly in mirrors, haunting them. One night, a 5 or 6-year-old girl went missing from a home near the asylum. Word spread quickly. Locals formed search parties and entered the jungle under torchlight. After a while, they heard a gut-wrenching scream. They ran toward the sound and found a young woman in a clearing. She had cut her throat with a small knife. Blood spilled freely. In her hand, she held a bowl, from which she was drinking the girl's blood. With her blooded fingers, she was writing something on white cloth. The searchers seized her, tied her to a tree, but no one dared to look directly at her face. Her eyes had turned blood red. Blood dripped from her mouth. Her skin was pale, her hands frighteningly dry. Her nose was long and sharp. But disturbingly, her face still had an unnatural beauty. People stood in a daze. Then, some of them threw kerosene on her from a distance and set her ablaze. 70% of her right arm and leg were burned. A doctor named Animesh from the nearby asylum arrived, and with help from the local police, admitted her to the institution. He had only been on duty there for a few months and wasn't aware of the area's dark history. He dressed her wounds and placed her in a treatment room. Dr. Animesh visited her several times a day. The woman repeatedly pleaded with him to let her go. But he insisted she wasn't well enough yet. Then something strange happened. Every patient in the asylum cut open their own hands and began drawing identical maps on the walls with their blood. Each map was exactly the same. But oddly enough, the woman remained unconscious, uninvolved. A month and a half passed. One day, Dr. Animesh entered her room and noticed her face was covered. Wrinkles and marks of age had appeared. Her teeth had turned black. She was desperately trying to hide her face with a bandage. A nurse with Dr. Animesh was terrified. She whispered, "This woman performs black magic. If she doesn't sacrifice a human on the night of the full moon, her true age will surface instantly." Dr. Animesh dismissed her. "Don't believe this superstition. And don't speak such things to a patient." Ignoring the nurse's warning, he left her to her duties. That night, a scream rang out. There was a fire in the asylum. The nurse rushed to Dr. Animesh's room and found him dead on the bed, his throat ripped open with a nail. Blood poured across the floor. The whole asylum was burned and 7 patients died. But on the night of the new moon, children's screams returned, echoing through the village. People searched everywhere, but found nothing. Among the 7 who died in the fire that night was the nurse. Or so they thought. There was no proof. No clear answer. Just speculation. Then came the fifth incident. The same villagers who had set the witch ablaze began seeing her, standing silently outside their homes. That very night, they set themselves on fire. 2 were killed. The rest were hospitalized, mentally shattered. Those who survived swore they'd heard a knock at 3 a.m., opened the door, and found the witch standing there. After that, their memory went blank. One man decided to visit a tantric, a spiritual practitioner, and told him everything. The tantric agreed to help. He was taken deep into the jungle where the woman's hut still stood. "I'll stay here tonight," he said. "I'll finish her." That night, the tantric stumbled into a nearby house, clutching his throat, blood pouring from his neck. The witch had appeared behind him, smiling. In Hindi, she said, "He tried to kill me, but I will kill him instead." She lit a lamp with eerie calm. And then all the lights in the village went out. The witch vanished into darkness. A few days later, 3 girls disappeared. On the next full moon, one was found hanging from a tree. Her face was disfigured, teeth gone, fingers missing, body covered in gashes. The other 2 were found on the next full moon, but only in pieces. Half buried. Their necks torn open. The villagers were horrified. They turned to a powerful tantric, an Agori. But even he gave up and fled. Eventually, the police were informed. They hunted for the woman and finally found her. She was about to sacrifice another innocent life when they shot her. With the help of the villagers, they burned her body. But the horror was not over. A few days later, she was seen again, standing in the village. At first, they thought it was a mistake. Until the dead body of the police officer who shot her was found. His head was missing. His eyes were gouged out. His right arm was gone. The village was gripped by fear. People began seeing her at night, her face pale, eyes lifeless, her black teeth sharp like blades, and thorn-like horns emerging from her skull. Finally, they turned to the head of the tantric order. He demanded money and 11 corpses. When the villagers hesitated, he settled for 3 dead bodies and some cash. He returned with 25 disciples. They surrounded the witch's hut and began chanting powerful mantras. As the air thickened, the witch appeared, angrier than ever. The head tantric confronted her. "How are you still alive?" he asked. "I've killed 111 people," she replied. "My master made me immortal." The tantrics chanted louder. The head tantric threw a sacred bag of soil at her. She screamed. Her body turned to smoke and was trapped in the bag. The tantric declared, "She is captured, but she cannot be killed. I'll lock her in this hut. No one must enter." He drew a map around the hut. A protective circle. Anyone who crossed it would need to perform a cleansing ritual. Instructions written on a paper hung at the door and inside the hut. No one was to touch the pouch, nor disturb the mantras inscribed on the wall and the table. Then he left. But some days later, a city dweller came to collect soil near the asylum. He crossed the first wall, then the second, and entered the hut. Inside, he found darkness. He saw the paper, the ritual, but panicked and ignored it. He fled. The next day, the head tantric went missing. 2 of his disciples arrived at the asylum. One investigated the hut. They found their master dead. Throat swollen. Hands gripping his own neck. A disciple revealed they'd heard his screams the night before. Outside the hut, the witch had been seen laughing, holding a stick, her teeth glinting in the dark. They checked the hut again. The door was open, but the pouch containing the witch hadn't opened yet. The disciple performed the chants once more and sealed the hut. After that, the villagers built a wall around the hut. Since then, no one has seen the witch again.